One Zambia, One Nation, and thanks for joining us on Zanis News. To present, my name is Juliet Mtale. Top stories in the news tonight. ZTE ponders setting up phone factory in Zambia. Copperbelt Province pupil enrollment levels exceed 1 million. Government says timely information dissemination important. Plus RIA to electrify 350 households in Katete district. Zanis News in detail. A Chinese multinational telecommunications equipment and systems company, ZTE Corporations, has announced that plans to set up a smartphone factory in Zambia have reached an advanced stage. Speaking when President Hakainde Hichilema visited the company's headquarters in Shenzhen City in China, ZTE Chief Executive Officer Li Zengxi disclosed that the favorable business environment that exists in Zambia has motivated the company to consider setting up a factory. Meanwhile, President Hichilema said his government is in a hurry to woo investors that will help create jobs for the Zambian people.
Zambia will soon have its first ever local smartphone factory courtesy of President Hakainde Hichilema's administration. ZTE, one of the world's largest telecommunications company, says discussions with the Zambian government have reached an advanced stage to set up a smartphone factory to produce affordable phones to the Zambian community. ZTE Corporation's chairman Li Zheng disclosed this in China when President Hakainde Hichilema visited the company's headquarters in Shenzhen City.
We're deepening our discussion of setting up local smartphone factories. We're discussing with the Ministry of Technology and Science and local partners to explore the business model and possibilities of setting up local smartphone factories to manufacture affordable smartphones in Zambia.
President Hichilema, on the other hand, says the factory has even delayed, stating that such developments should have been implemented way back.
Down much with the Minister of Technology. There's no reason we should be sitting on, for example, the production of smartphones. This should have happened yesterday. Yesterday. So we're behind schedule. Honestly, the location of Zambia lends itself to greater opportunities. Centrality, 8 neighbors plus 9, SADC connection, commercial connection, AU connection, the stability in our country. Your Excellency, Chinese Ambassador, we need to sell this to China. The stability of our country around a fairly fragile, region. Our country remains stable.
ZTE has also expressed interest to partner with Zambia in the installation of a disaster mobile command system which can help in times of disasters.
When everything fails in terms of network and you need to deploy emergency, which you already have the system for, emergency rescue, and let it be fire, earthquakes, or so on, you need a high reliable connection, right, to be able to communicate with the people on the field. So this is what gives you that, basically. You have a commander center here that is portable, and then you have 4G, it's like a base station. Basically, you have everything.
This system is said to work even when all communication systems break down during a disaster and can also be used to determine possible disasters in real time. While at ZTE, President Hichilema and Mr. Zheng also witnessed the signing of a digital memorandum of understanding between the Zambian government, represented by Science and Technology Minister Felix Mtati, and ZTE's Vice President of Africa Division 2, Chris Yang. Earlier, the president also visited Tencent Holdings Limited, a prominent Chinese multinational conglomerate with interest in various technology and internet-related business. The company has shown interest to partner with Zambia in the area of e-commerce, which refers to the buying and selling of goods and services over the internet or through electronic means. E-commerce has become a significant aspect of modern business and consumer behavior world over. The president has since left for Jiangxi province, accompanied by First Lady Mutinta Hichilema. Kalan Muchima, reporting for Zanis, Shenzhen City, China.
More in the news. The recently announced planned recruitment of teachers and health workers by government has cheered various stakeholders in Eastern Province. One of these stakeholders is the Zambia Union of Teachers, who has commended government for being responsive to the needs of the education sector. More in this report by Lavrin Sichizia.
Government is committed towards addressing the shortage of teachers and health workers in the country. Last week, President Hakainde Hichilema, during his address to Parliament, announced his government's resolve to recruit additional 4,000 teachers this year in a bid to reduce the teacher shortage in schools. This also includes the 3,000 health workers that will be employed by government to fill up the vacant positions of essential workers in health facilities in the country. The move by government has cheered teacher unions in Eastern Province.
This is a move in the right direction. Direction in the sense that with the introduction of the free education, we have numbers that have swelled. Pupils, the number of pupils in these schools has swelled. The population in these schools has grown. And so we have a high rate of teacher-pupil ratio.
And some youths in Chipata say the move will enhance employment creation and productivity in the social sector.
First of all, we want to thank government for being consistent in terms of job creation. We have seen a situation where last year they recruited over 11,000 health personnel, and this year another addition of more than 3,000. So for us, we feel very comfortable that we have got a government that is consistent, that looks into the issues of young people in terms of job creation and employment rate.
That's transparent, so we commend the government for such gesture. Even if the number looks small, but at least it's a national cake. At least the citizens, the youths, will be able to share the slots that have been advertised.
These and many other pronouncements made by government will indeed put a country on a light trajectory that will bring about socio-economic development. Lavring Stizia reporting for Zanis in Chipata, Eastern Province.
In Lusaka Province, stakeholders in the education sector have commended government for making strides towards improving access to quality education for all. Reacting to the presidential speech delivered in Parliament last Friday, various teachers' unions said the addition of 4,500 teachers that will be employed this year will not only help improve quality education, but also address the teacher-pupil ratio. Upe Sendre gives us the following report.
One of the sectors that the government has given priority is education in order to enhance access to quality education for all. And various stakeholders in the education sector are happy with the government's performance so far, stating that the additional pronouncements by President Hakainde Hichilema during the official opening of Parliament responds further to the development of the sector.
There is a sector the United Party for National Development government has exceptionally performed well in, is the education sector. I think we have seen a number of developments. Talk about the 30,000 teachers that have become famous now. Talk about the issue of the free education, and using the Constituency Development Fund, which is proving to be a game changer. The challenges that came with the free education policy, such as shortage of desks, are being ameliorated this time around. One would think the employment of the 30,000 plus teachers would have had an effect on the wage bill to an extent that they would probably go slow. But we've seen again that for the 2023 budget, there is a component of the recruitment of 4,500 teachers more.
These others, they have done well, like the funding in schools. I think they have been systematic.
For the National Action for Quality Education in Zambia, the interventions respond to the provision of quality education.
Some of the notables that we took, the emphasis by the president on the acquisition of vocational skills by the young people using CDF, that is very, very, very powerful. we want to encourage government to continue sponsoring our young people.
Meanwhile, the stakeholders have also made recommendations.
Curriculum review. We are calling upon the government to expedite this particular process. We would want to see what comes out of this. There is no way we can have an education system that does not encompass the learning of minerals, mining if you like, in our education system.
And we hope that next time, even the issue of building houses for teachers should be able to be included. But we would like to encourage government to continue empowering our young people with skills, recruiting more teachers, especially next year. We expect that more than 15,000 teachers are going to be recruited.
The main thing is that we should look at the upgrading issue. It affects most of the teachers.
Wopesendo for Zanis News in Lusaka.
Still in education news, but this time around on the Copperbelt province, the free education policy introduced by government has resulted in more than 200,000 new pupils attending schools in the region. Copperbelt Province Education Officer Stephen Chishiko says to cater for the growing number of pupils yearning for education, the province will construct 15 new secondary schools from the allocation that President Hichilema announced in Parliament last week. Here are the details.
Government's provision of free education is a blessing to many community members who had no capacity of paying school fees. The move has resulted in many pupils enrolling for school. Copperbelt Province has not been left out from the opportunities that have been created for these pupils. As announced by President Hakainde Hichilema during his address to Parliament to improve the education sector, Copperbelt Province is also working on reducing the deficit of 91,656 desks in schools, and by November, the situation is set to improve to help these learners.
What is happening now, of course, we have a lot of pupils coming back to school. Last year, we had 856,000 plus pupils in our schools. And by this year, this quarter, we have seen an increase up to 1,104,000 pupils in our schools. So there is this great increase.
The province has also embarked on construction of 15 secondary schools to cater for the growing number of learners.
We are happy that this year we see the construction of 15 secondary schools. These are day schools and 2 boarding schools supported by World Bank. And of course, each district, we have 10 districts, and in 5 districts we are going to have 2 secondary schools built, and then the other 5 districts will have a secondary school each. And this is going to increase the number, it is going to increase the number of space that we want to see in our province.
Early childhood schools are also being constructed.
Number early child education centers. I may just say that these centers, we have all the contractors there on site. That is the Yengwe Combined School, where we have Beverly Investment Limited, and the Chiwara Primary School, and the Kanyenda in Mpongwe. So all these sites have been handed over to contractors, and they are already working.
Education is a civic right to every person, and making it accessible to all the children will help to uplift the country's developmental agenda. Tovini Ngombe, Zanis, Ndola.
Luapula Chamber of Commerce and Industry President Emmanuel Musanje has called on Zambians to support government's efforts of growing the country's economy. Commenting on President Hakainde Hichilema's address to the 3rd session of the 13th National Assembly, Mr. Msanje says the president's speech was about government's commitment to revive the economy. Mr. Msanje called on Zambians to be patient and embrace the spirit of hard work as government continues to rebuild the economy. He explained that government has acknowledged some of the economic challenges facing the country, such as high meal prices. Mr. Msanje further emphasized the vital role of the private sector in driving the economic recovery. Meanwhile, the Joma Chamber of Commerce says President Hakainde Hichilema's speech to Parliament on September 8, 2023 gives hope to the small and medium entrepreneurs in the country as it provided policy pronouncements for increasing affordable financial windows to grow the sector. Joma Chamber of Commerce Vice President Becca Jakwana says this speech demonstrated government's commitment to grow various sectors of the economy through agricultural support and other areas. Here are the details.
Agriculture has remained the bedrock of the country's development, key in achieving economic transformation and job creation for ordinary citizens. With the Southern Province being an agriculture province, various stakeholders have welcomed pronouncements President Hakainde Hichilema made during his address to Parliament. Choma Chamber of Commerce is happy with the strides the government is making to transform the agriculture sector.
The entire speech was very motivating. The entire speech was rejuvenating. You are aware that when you talk about economic transformation and job creation through agriculture, I'm sure you're aware that here in Choma, over 90% of businesses, or 80% thereof, are agriculture linked. So caught part of the president's speech where he says, we are establishing a credit window to support small-scale farmers, public sector workers, and others with affordable financing for inputs, mechanization, and irrigation. It means that production of maize in particular will grow, and then the price of meal will come down.
Civil society organizations are happy to see many empowerment opportunities being provided.
So the presidential speech to Parliament on Friday was very assuring. I think it gave Zambians the hope. The president also emphasized on a very, very important point around economic transformation and job creation. And his emphasis was around supporting agriculture. And given the level of unemployment and with the support the government is trying to put in agriculture sector, it's possible that we are going to overcome unemployment.
Small-scale farmers are keen to do their part.
You can see that we have a farmer at State House. That man is really a farmer. He knows what he's doing. He's thinking the way we are thinking. What has just remained for us is to put our heads together, kneel down and pray to God that God will give us some good rains.
Gifty Banji, Zanis, Choma, Southern Province.
We now move to the northern part of the country. Government has reaffirmed its commitment to ensuring that people have access to timely information in the country. Information and Media Permanent Secretary Kennedy Kalunga says this is evidenced by the installation of 15 FM transmitters for ZNBC Radio 1 and 2 signals across the country. Mr. Kalunga says this when he called on Senga Hill Acting District Commissioner Tammy Mambwe. More in this report.
Access to information plays an integral part for the people to make informed decisions in the governance systems. However, some districts like Senga lack the much needed information as a result of the unavailability of FM transmitters. But this will be a thing of the past as government has installed 15 transmitters across the country, among them Senga Hill District, for the people to have access to timely information.
Your government is looking at all the needs, hence our coming here. Relocating, it may not work, but adding another one, looking at your explanation, it's like one district, I don't know how wide it is now. If it's 102 to get to where the next transmitter is, and from that 102, it should be pushing signal on the other side and the other side. So if we relocate it to here, we deny so many. It's better something comes here which will be able to throw 6 to 7 kilometers this side and the other side, so that the entire Senga district should be powered.
And Acting District Commissioner Tami Mambwe is excited about this development.
Whatever is done here, it appears as if it is only done for the people of this side, except those which are there, the other side there. So once we look into the issue of the signal, the NBC, then we are going to be happy as it is administration, because we would know that whatever is being done is going to be known by the people in the district, in the province, even outside Zambia, so to say.
Meanwhile, ZNBC Director General Barry Rwando had this to say.
Particularly, we will have to come and look, just like we've promised Isoka, that the gap fill of where we've left it, we are going to see that. And then, and that's the reason, like PS says, the reason why we're going around. And by going around, we are beginning to also be eye-opened to what is happening.
Reporting for Zanis in Senga Hill, Namsokwe Wembia.
Still in the news, the devolution of some government departments to the local authority has commenced in Gwembe District. Gwembe District Council Chairperson Colette Ndrovu says all the devolved departments have started reporting to local authorities in order to actualize the implementation of decentralization policy. Speaking during an ordinary council meeting held at Munyumbwe Civic Center, Mr. Ndrovu said the devolved departments are now making developmental decisions in line with the needs of the local people. He said this has facilitated a coordinated implementation of various government programs that are well targeted and without duplication. Now, Lusaka District Commissioner Rosa Zulu has thanked government for considering first lifting the district administration office block at Lusaka Boma. The rehabilitation project is being undertaken by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Michelle Omwemba now brings us the following details.
The Lusaka District Administration buildings, housing Lusaka District Commissioner and other government departments, situated along Church Road, are believed to have been constructed before 1964 and have never seen any facelift until now. The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development has embarked on a project to upgrade the car park from gravel to asphalt through AVIC International.
By December, we'll be able to done this project according to the period which was being agreed. Due to congestion of parking space, we are going to do some other quick work which will be excluded pavers and cobblestone and small drainages.
This development has elated Lusaka District Commissioner Rosa Zulu, who has praised President Hakainde Hichilema for this unprecedented development.
When I was talking about other places to be dating, when I come to this office, I was so ashamed that even my office was not looking so smart. When I came to this office, I found it like there was earthquake. It was so dust. We really appreciate government. This is why we are saying, I think we should just be there to work with the government, because it is bringing up things, nice things like this. This is 100% plus to the government. We really appreciate. This is the way to go. We want to ask for people all over, wherever you are watching me, to say, come on board and help us so that we can put a fence. We want to have 2 gates so that people should come in and go out nicely.
Lusaka District Buildings Officer Kosam Siwale is equally impressed with this development.
We appreciate the efforts of the new Dawn government through the district commissioner, who has been, I think from the time she just came in as district commissioner, it was the first thing that she talked about. She said, okay, the car parks looks terrible and we have to do it. And I'm sure most people did not see that as a thing that will happen, but here we are. The car park is done.
Lusaka District Commissioner is also calling on well-wishers and other stakeholders to come on board and put up an ablution block to supplement the existing one. Mijelo Mwemba, Zanis, Lusaka.
Works to connect electricity to Chief Katumba's palace have commenced and are progressing well. The Katumba Grid Intensification Project is being implemented by the Rural Electrification Authority, REA, to connect power to the Chief's palace, selected public institutions, and 350 households in the area. More in this report.
The presence of these poles is a sigh of relief to the community in Chief Katumba's chiefdom in Katete district. After years of continuous appeals to have electricity connected to his palace, the chief is today telling a different story.
Taona dikutinga mwaona nchito yagwirika hapa kugwirika masiku yochepa kwambiri. Utanthauza kuti nchito ya president waikako mtima. Fwaposa yakako mtima sembe makontrakta nanya nchito wao sana katawanga nchito tele. Hapa yanafika hatu mpaka na kusinda nkambetero mapoya haya. Tele niluyamikira pamozi na bantu banga baliwokondwera lomba maninga zomwe zambooneka kuti zikomangako.
The details of this project were shared by Rural Electrification Authority Senior Community Development Officer Viju Monga.
So this project is targeting to connect the following institutions: supply of electricity to Ndaula Mini Hospital, Gunda Primary School, Chinzure Primary School, as well as Chief Katumba's palace. The project will also connect a total of 350 low category households in these surrounding communities. The Katumba Grid Intensification Project involves the construction of a total of 17.7 kilometers of 11 kV overhead grid lines. Project will also bring on board a total of about 6 kilometers of medium voltage network to be able to supply.
He also made an appeal.
Our expectation is that this project will be accepted by the stakeholders and they will provide security, as it were, and that these stakeholders are also going to take advantages of the opportunities that are being created by this project in terms of obviously indirect and direct jobs, as well as the business opportunities that come with such projects.
This project is part of government's interventions to realize universal access to affordable and sustainable electricity as a catalyst to national development. Abigail Kashweka reporting for Zanis.
And in health news, Kauma district has recorded 2 suspected polio cases involving children under the age of 5. Kauma District Health Director Idi Mwinyi confirmed the development in an interview with Zanis. Mr. Mwinyi disclosed that the specimens have been sent to the laboratory in Lusaka and results have not yet been received. Meanwhile, Kauma District managed to immunize 67,052 out of the targeted 67,419 children against polio during the just ended 6 days campaign, representing 99.5%. Mr. Mwinyi said the district health office managed to reach almost 100% because of the robust door-to-door campaign that was embarked on during the 6-day campaign period. He has since urged parents and guardians with children who are 8 years and below to take their children to the nearest health facility for polio immunization. The Ministry of Community Development and Social Security has launched the Child Safeguarding Policy aimed at creating a sustainable, child-friendly environment that protects children. The policy, developed with the support of adolescents and children HIV incidence reduction, empowerment and virus elimination, and various collaborating partners, is set to play a pivotal role in advancing child protection as outlined in the Children's Code Act. Speaking at the launch in Lusaka, the Ministry of Community Development and Social Security Permanent Secretary Angela Chombas, said the development of the ministerial child safeguarding policy is targeted at ensuring that all institutions working with children implement comprehensive measures for the safety and well-being of every child. Ms. Chombas said this initiative demonstrates the government's commitment to creating a sustainable, child-friendly environment across all sectors with a firm focus on the best interests of the child and principle of non-discrimination. Meanwhile, protecting all children together, Deputy Country Director, who is also the Chief Project Director, Nangande Kamwale, said her organization is committed to preventing child abuse, exploitation, and harm. Mr. Kamwale says together with other collaborators, keeping children safe through the Achieve project has trained 55 people from both national and provincial levels within the ministry in child safeguarding. The National Pension Scheme Authority (NAPSA) has launched the 2022-2026 strategic plan, which will guide the authority in its mandate of securing the social and economic well-being of the people. Minister of Labour and Social Security Brenda Tambatamba, who launched the strategic plan, congratulated the authority for this milestone, which she said will improve service delivery to the people. Ms. Tambatamba said the launch is a testament of government's resolve to improve social security services for its members. She said NAPSA's ambitious plan to register about 200,000 informal workers in 2026 is unwavering, adding that this target validates the authority's dedication to inclusivity. Speaking at the same event, NAPSA Board Chairperson of Trustees, Shipango Muteto, said the aim of the strategic plan is to help guide the authority in implementing its services. Mr. Muteto said the plan encompasses the vision for the authority to help in outlining the roadmap and that will guide its actions and decisions over the next 5 years.
So we're just cutting it to officially launch 2022. A big clap, ladies and gentlemen. The strategic plan for NAPSA 2022 to 2026 officially launched. I wish to congratulate NAPSA for this important milestone. Congratulations, Chairperson and your team. This demonstrates commitment to institutional excellency and improved service delivery that responds to the needs of the Zambian citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, I am aware that this strategic plan espouses the desires of the new Dawn administration by aligning to the 8th National Development Plan. Ladies and gentlemen, I am elated to note that NAPSA has so far demonstrated commitment to the social security vision of the government through exemplary initiatives such as an extension of social security coverage to the informal sector. Your ambitious target to register 200,000 informal sector workers by the year 2026 is exemplary, and this target validates your dedication to inclusivity.
This strategic plan encompasses our vision for the authority, outlining the roadmap that will guide our actions and decisions over the next 5 years. Of course, we began to do so last year. It outlines our goals, our strategies, and measures of success. It embodies and reflects our commitment, firstly, to transparency, accountability, and service excellence. And I want to emphasize, Honorable Minister, to transparency, accountability, and service excellence.
Kapirimposhi Magistrate Court has fined 37 employers for abrogating the National Pension Scheme Authority (NAPSA) Act. The employers operating various businesses were appearing in court for offences ranging from failure to register their employees with NAPSA and failure to produce documents. Other employers were indicted on charges of failure to remit statutory contributions to their employees to NAPSA. The offences are contrary to Section 51 of the NAPSA Act number 40 of 1996 of the laws of Zambia. All businesses pleaded guilty to the respective offences before magistrates Mwila Malupande and Jami Makumbi respectively. In the statement of facts, NAPSA public prosecutor Conrad Sluya indicated that NAPSA had visited the premises of the employers before the court between 22nd March and 11 September 2023 around Kapirimposhi town to check their compliance to NAPSA Act. In passing judgment, Magistrate Malupande urged employers to comply with NAPSA and business regulations to enable employees enjoy their social security rights. As we end the news, we take a look at the top stories once again. ZTE ponders setting up phone factory in Zambia. Copperbelt Province pupil enrollment levels exceed 1 million. Government says timely information dissemination important. Plus RIA to electrify 350 households in Katete district. Well, thank you so much for your time. Remember that we are one Zambia, one nation. On behalf of the entire Zanis production team, my name is Juliet Mtale, saying bye-bye and enjoy the rest of the programming.